And a happy Thursday to all. This is Cinco Squad. We are back in effect here. And tonight I just have my brother alongside me here, Mikey Mike, who is one of the happiest Giants fan you will meet, and you will definitely hear about it on the show. Our brother John right now has already assumed that the new offensive coordinator role has to be taken under his wing. They're not waiting for a hire at this point. He said we need to put things in motion if we're going to win a Super Bowl next year. Stop wasting time, Philly. I'm on the way. He's in the war room right now looking at film and getting those guys ready for next year already. So you would figure with Divisional Round weekend, a national championship game on the loom, number one, Arizona coming to our neck of the woods playing UCF this weekend. Some big top 25 matchups, BYU taking on Texas Tech. A huge female basketball game going on right now with Joyce Edwards and Madison Booker going at it in South Carolina. Top 5 SEC female Titan matchup. That we would lead with one of those things. But ladies and gentlemen, that does not deserve a leadership storyline this evening. So I'm about to hand it over to my guy here, Mikey Mike, to let you guys know how he feels about what might be the best thing to happen to Giants football in the last 10 years.
Dan Orlovsky said it right. This is the best thing to happen to the Giants since they won the Super Bowl. John Harbaugh is the new head coach, or at least he will be once we get the deal finalized. Now, Jay, I don't know if you've heard what the supposed projected or rumored contract is.
I have not.
5 years.
Yeah.
100 million.
No way. They're taking the 20 million.
Double what we got from the Raiders per year. And honestly, if there's anybody on the market that deserved it, it was John Harbaugh. I mean, he's a Super Bowl champion. Yeah, there's some doubts over like the, clock management and some of the decisions he made and Derrick Henry decisions and all that. And I'm not excusing that. And I hope that that's not the John Harbaugh we're getting. I don't think it's the John Harbaugh we're getting. I agree with what some people were saying after he got fired, which was that Harbaugh seemed, and the whole coaching staff, seemed kind of checked out by, the last quarter of the season.
Yeah.
They were still in the hunt, but they already were going to have a much worse season than they had in a while.
Yep.
They were in a fight for a division that everybody, or at least a lot of people, believed they should outright have won by midseason based on the talent on paper on their roster. And so it just seemed like they were checked out. But I'm super excited because he's a culture builder. He's an experienced head coach. Like I said in the clip I posted earlier, kind of my brief reaction to it, planning on giving the full one here. I like that it's a guy that we don't have to guess if he can be a head coach.
Correct.
It's not we got a coordinator. Hopefully he's a good head coach, because they've done that a million times since Coughlin left. Pretty much everybody other than Pat Shurmur, nobody else had been a head coach before. So I like the hire. I like the fact that there's apparently, once it's finalized and he can start building his staff, the first move is bringing Todd Monken over as OC. They have some candidates for DC. I'd like Antonio Pierce, though. They're saying, I was talking to my dad earlier, apparently they're saying that more likely thing is that Antonio Pierce ends up getting brought in as the linebackers coach.
I don't know why they wouldn't give him a shot as someone who had such a good, I would say he really showed everybody what he's capable of in that interim year. We were surprised they didn't give him another year or two.
Yeah.
I think it's a dream team to bring back somebody who has so much pride for that franchise to get that defense playing the way they can with that talent. I'm shocked to hear that they're not going to give him that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be against them giving him that opportunity, but there's a good chance, actually, that Harbaugh's just bringing his whole staff over. So it's Monken at OC and then Zach Orr at DC. And if there's listen, the Ravens have had a good defense for a long time. He played for and coached for Harbaugh now. Either way, I'm super excited of what he can do. So how are you thinking from an outside perspective?
I mean, it definitely looks great on paper right now, right? You're bringing in somebody who can bring a staff that has shown the league what they're capable of in their capacity. When Monken and Lamar was healthy, and the two of those guys really understood this is the game plan, and they executed it. We're talking about a top 2 to 3 offense in the league. And it's almost like this is like Lamar Jr. version and Derrick Henry Jr. version, if you got a healthy Scatterable, and something that the Ravens never had, which is a superstar wide receiver. Now, I'm surprised they went that 100 mil. I thought they would go more along the lines of 575, offer him 15. and then say we got 25 on the table to throw at someone like a George Pickens for a 1 or 2 year contract. You put Pickens on the other side of Neighbors in case Neighbors' need isn't right. At least you have your number one in that offense. And now let's really see what Monken can do with the number one in a quarterback like Dart. I'm excited, like I said, for you guys. I always thought that the offseason was going to be good to you. Of course, this was an opening that nobody had expected to just happen just like that. We thought that other names would be hired and fired a lot sooner than Harbaugh being fired and then hired again.
Yeah.
So this looks great for you guys. Like I said, the East doesn't look like it's getting any better anytime soon. You have 4 really good quarterbacks and 1 potential winner in that conference right now, which is Jalen, who's proven that.
Right.
So nobody is to the point where I feel like it's too much for Dart or it's too much for your team to overcome. We know that the Eagles may have the best defense in football, so that's obviously going to be the toughest matchup twice a year. But now you have the offense to keep up with the Cowboys. And if they lose Pickens, then they lose a real star in that offense. Right. And I don't think you need to be worried about Washington right now because I feel like Washington is trying to almost play their way up the bottom of the right? Yeah. So, hey, New York, way to go. Way to go, New York football Giants.
You actually made a good decision.
Make an aggressive move. Yeah. We are surprised by it, but if that's what it settles at, and that's what you need to try and bring championship-like mentality and football back into that locker room and for the fans to get excited season in and season out to actually have a chance of making the playoff, not by fluke or not because this team was down because they lost their star player, because the quality of the team matches the expectation of a team that gets a chance to play, not just in December, but in January. So we love this for them. Okay. I've been spoiled. Okay. So I'm not complaining over here that Tampa needed a shot at John Harbaugh. Okay. We've had our fair share of championship-like players and our coaches come into our franchise as of recently. So we're not desperate for that. Our culture has shifted in a positive way. So let's see what happens in a tough NFC East that's never easy to win, right? Up until what, this year? 20 years almost in a row that you hadn't had back-to-back winners or something crazy like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So we know that it's a hard division to win back-to-back. So let's see if the Giants can be that one to spoil Philly's chance at a 3-year run at winning the division. So now you think that the pieces are in place on the sidelines. I mentioned Pickens. Yeah. If there's somebody out there, you need to bring in to really solidify things from a standpoint of talent that you can give more time to Dart, or somebody who can make the special teams tighten up. Who is that missing link for you? Who is your X factor? If we go get this guy, man, am I going to be excited about the team?
That's actually a very good question. There's some names I've heard thrown out. I'm not going to go a receiver only because of 2 things. One, I'm expecting they're going to re-sign Wan'Dale Robinson after he proved that he's a very capable receiver when he gets, the targets. And I like him as a slot guy, like they always projected him out of Kentucky to be. Also, they're expected to use a first-round pick. I think they have 2. A first-round pick on a receiver, on the best receiver they can get at the time, probably is going to end up being Tyson from Arizona State.
Who is a generational talent.
And who Cam knows, so I like that kind of symmetry in the offense to be able to work them together. So I'm not going to say a receiver. Honestly, and we always talk about this, football games, especially at the NFL level, won in the trenches. And there is a free agent on the market, hitting the market as soon as the Super Bowl ends, that this head coach and coaching staff is going to be very familiar with. So I want them to go get Tyler Linderbaum to solidify the center position and get a real leader on that O-line. There is some talent on the O-line. There's some developing players on the O-line, but it's still something that for at least 10, 15 years since they won that Super Bowl, they've needed to address. I think Linderbaum is the guy to do it. I wanted him very badly out of Iowa because my dad always says, if you're going to go for O-linemen, go to the Big Ten. Yeah. Because those are some country farm strength boys, especially at Iowa.
That's right.
Iowa, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio State, like all of those Big Ten schools, Indiana, showing respect to their Indiana. Yes. We will show them respect shortly. That's right. I want Linderbaum because I think, unfortunately, John Michael Schmidt's not the answer solely at center. He might be a, kind of Swiss Army knife hybrid lineman where he play either guard or center. I think that's maybe where his role is, but let's get that leader on the line and start winning in the trenches more because the defensive line can do it. We just need the offensive line to do it.
Yep. So one of the pieces is in place now. Like we mentioned on Tuesday, there's a lot of holes still to be filled in the NFL. A lot of talk of who's going to get that Miami job. Tolman's name's being thrown around, but we all think he's going to take a year off. Raheem Morris being thrown out there for potentially taking over for Harbaugh in Baltimore. And of course, we've already spoke about the potential of Robert Saleh heading to Vegas. Other than that, we're not too sure what's going to happen in Cleveland, and we're not too sure what's going to happen in Tennessee. None of those jobs are very favorable right now, so maybe you get that young coach and give that young coach or hotshot coordinator a shot to turn things around. But we're focused on New York Giants football tonight, and huge win for them. So congratulations to the New York Football Giant fans, and congratulations to Adam Silver for once again. Let's expand the NBA. We know how to shine a slice of fries and mice in the NBA in Berlin this evening, Michael. And do you believe in magic? Because the Orlando Magic have a huge comeback to beat the Memphis Grizzlies minus John Morant. So maybe not as impressive. And talk about John Morant. A lot of talk right now about bargain opportunity, or is it even worth it? And my mind, how the mighty have fallen, where 3 years ago we were talking about John Zion being the big tickets in the NBA, and who wouldn't pay to come out and watch these guys play. And we're hoping the two of them meet up in the Western Conference playoffs so we can have a head-to-head. And they're almost non-existent now. So is it worth it to go after Ja at this point?
No. I personally wouldn't want Ja on my team, only because, yes, the talent is there. Leaps and bounds, literally leaps and bounds. It's what he brings. He's athletic.
You remember that full court alley-oop catch, 180 spin? I mean, the guy's game is so unique and so special.
I will say this, as far as athleticism, Ja had the potential, and I'm going to go as far right now as to say had the potential, because I think that potential's gone, to be his generation's Russell Westbrook.
Ooh, yeah.
Athletically, I don't think he ever, and this is part of the problem, I will say, I don't think he ever had Russ's drive to be great, to be that dog. He is so everywhere, and he's such a distraction to his team and to the league that I wouldn't want to put up with it. Listen, we talk about all the talent coming out of college and overseas these days, that there's just not enough spots. So I'm as talented as he is, as much of a franchise player, franchise changer that John Morant can be from a basketball perspective. I just feel like it's too toxic to bring in for if I was any GM in the league. And that sucks to say about someone that's so talented.
We've seen it in the NBA before, where somebody has not fit into the culture. And, a long time ago, there are certain players that wouldn't stand for the national anthem, or they have certain players that talk about being cancerous towards the team. And a change of environment might actually be what they needed all along. I feel like he may get his wings under him again, like he needs more wings. But if you give him another shot in the right environment, under the right leadership, I think he becomes the quintessential role player for a team that needs a guy that come in high energy, hard to guard, moves well off the ball, can get you offensive rebounds, and is not a defensive liability. So he checks off on all the points for a good 6 or 7 man. What roster is going to be willing, or head coach or GM, to be like, we'll take that problem on? Like you said, a lot of rumors of Miami. We're going to see if it happens or not. Maybe there's a 3-team deal somewhere in there we haven't heard about yet, where he ends up on a roster that can compete, like maybe even a Boston, where it's like, hey, guy, you're going to come in here and just do this. Okay, this is our style of basketball. And maybe he does need to connect with a younger coach who gets it, who understands, hey, like, I get it. Being somebody young, this pressure is on you. So maybe we need the right match. For now, though, we'll get into some more NBA talk. Free agency is going to be looming February, about mid-February. That's going to be the deadline. So you'll hear talking about NBA. But now let's draw our attention towards the biggest game of the weekend. We're going to skip forward and then come back to NFL, because we talked about NFL so much. We didn't show enough love for the Indiana Hoosiers and the Miami Hurricanes. So we're going to give them that love right now. Monday night, national championship game in Hard Rock. Home game for Miami. Ironically, home game for your Heisman quarterback and your Heisman winner, Mr. Frank Mendoza, who grew up and went to high school at Christopher Columbus, right around the corner. Said he would play pickup basketball and volleyball games right there in the campus. Not only familiar with the school and the program, but familiar with the head coach who played high school football with his dad. So there's a tie right there. And don't you love when sports just creates these stories of, like, it's such a small world.
It's so cool.
And it just brings it all together. So what a Monday night matchup we have, where I think it might be the first time a team is playing for a natty in their home stadium.
Yes.
So that's special in and of itself. But what's more special is first time the Indiana Hoosiers get their shot to call themselves the kings of college football. This guy right here has believed in them from week 2 or 3. I jumped on that bandwagon probably like a week later. We were trying to convince the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, this is the guy you need to go after. Do whatever you can to get him to be Jalen's backup. He didn't really believe in much until they showed him it's time to believe.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for our brother Trey, they knocked him out of the Big Ten. Well, the hope of being the 1 seed, and they proved to be the real deal, even though that game could have gone anybody's way. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the game, Mikey.
Yes.
Indiana has done nothing but dominate. Miami's done nothing that proves to everybody that we can stay in games, and once we're in the game, we can win this game. So who you got?
Well, first off, I'd like to apologize to Miami. I've been probably the biggest Miami hater this side of the Mississippi.
And I was the opposite. I said they're the all right number one until these guys were talking crap to me like, hey, I was that number 1 Miami team. Now I was like, how's that number 1 Miami team? Now they're number 1, but they're playing for Natty.
No, I mean, and then they've proven me wrong that they did deserve to be in. Past my Notre Dame frustration, Miami did deserve to be in. We did too still, but that's beside the point. We've already mentioned who didn't deserve to be in. As far as this game goes, it's going to be really good. Made a good point on Tuesday. These are very similar teams, almost identical in how they approach the game, especially defensively. Just attacking and pressure and
take care of the ball.
Foot on the gas, all gas, no brakes. The difference maker is going to be this. Indiana, better offense than Miami. Mm-hmm. Fernando Mendoza, better quarterback than Carson Beck. Offensive lines, possibly similar. Mm-hmm. Defensive lines, very similar. But in what will be a grinded-out defensive battle, as all Miami and Indiana games have been all year, I expect nothing less than that.
Okay.
Indiana's linebackers, better. Indiana's secondary, better. That's what wins Indiana the game. Give me Indiana, the Hoosiers. Win themselves a national championship. I'll even throw you a score. 24-10.
Interesting. Now, do they pull away late, or do they take control of the game and shut Miami out for most of the game with that 24-10 score?
I think it's more of a grinded out. They take a lead early, and they just outlast Miami.
So I agree with that. And here's where I think Cignetti is going to get the best of Cristobal, because that offense has been so hard to stop. Why change now?
Right.
So I think it's less grinded out on offense. Like we said, Miami's best defense is keeping Frankie off the field. So they're going to do their best. But good luck, because Indiana has more 3-and-outs than anybody so far in the college football playoff, and they've played less games. So that shows you how aggressive their defense has been. And what I see happening is very similar. I think they're going to do things, disguise things schematically, defensively, force Beck to get rid of it when he doesn't want to. I think there's going to be a very similar early turnover that's going to sway the game way into the momentum of Indiana. So soon, we're going to see them go up 14-0, almost just as fast. Not just as fast, because that happened immediately against Oregon. But it will happen fairly quickly where they take that 14-point lead. And now all of a sudden, what do? Can you afford to be conservative and run the ball the way you want to run it? Right? And they're going to probably still be as conservative as they can until they can't anymore. And what do we know about Beck when he has to do too much?
He makes mistakes.
A lot of them too.
A lot of them.
You cannot afford to have more than one mistake in this game, because I do think Miami's defense is going to force Mendoza into one mistake. And I don't even think that's going to be a pick. I think it might be something where something was open, or he missed a read that could have blown the game open and they keep themselves in it. Or it might be a pick, right? Because his defense is aggressive. I'm going a lot higher. I think that both of these teams kind of move the ball better than we think in the first half, and then it starts to slow down a bit in the second half. Then it might get crazy towards the end. I'm looking more at Indiana's definitely getting to 30. So give me Indiana 31, Miami 20.
Ooh, okay, so you think it's a little
I think
high
it's
scoring.
I think it's 31-13, and then the defense says, hey, let's give these guys a chance to get some minutes in the national championship game. And out of pride, Miami's like, we're not losing like 20, we're not losing like 25. Just make it respectable if we can. So 31-20, Both of us believe in the Indiana Hoosiers. That belief does not fade away because they're playing against the home team at Hard Rock Stadium. Now, does the OC of Philly have his pick? Did he send in his picks for the next
He
championship
did
game?
not send in his picks.
So he's going to be on our socials, letting you guys know if he's jumping on board this Hoosiers bandwagon, or he's going to go with the home team and go with the upset with a number 10 seed winning the national championship. We're all about the number one. Number one equals number one. All right, so that's our Natty Championship settle up. We're both on the same side. Moving into the NFL, divisional round games. And let's look at the AFC side of things first. You have Josh, CJ, Bo, and Drake. You tell anybody in the world who knows anything about football, this is what the semifinals of the AFC was going to look like. And everybody said, hands out, Buffalo's going. Yeah, there's no chance Buffalo doesn't make it. I mean, how can Josh lose to any one of these guys? Bo Nix hardly has any experience. He has one game. Drake May has one game. CJ Stroud has 3 or 4. Josh has more than that, maybe even one playoffs, right? So how does he possibly get knocked out? Well, spoke about it a lot. He's really banged up, right? We don't know where his health is at right now. But we do know that he needs to be Superman because this Broncos team has been looked over way too much, and this defense is very good. They have been a little soft towards the end of the year. We said the same thing about the Bears, but somehow they pulled it up. Then we got the NFC, and it's the NFC West versus the Chicago Bears. And it's quite the opposite now. You have the whole gang NFC West against a quarterback who, to me, looks like he believes more than anybody else in himself, in his team, in his coach, in his preparation, in his mentality, and in the way they want to play the game and how they want to play the game is their style of football. And our brand of football might be a little bit nerve-wracking for our fans, but it's been working for us this year. So we got the divisional round matchups in the NFC. The nighttime game on Sunday night in Chicago at Soldier Field.
Yes.
We got none other than Mr. Stafford coming in there to play spoiler, and a great NFC West divisional rival taking place in Seattle. The 12th man is going to be a factor. San Fran's rolling in there, and they want revenge, and they are after their revenge. We're going to see if they can get it. On the other side of the conference, the Denver Broncos finally get a chance to show us, are they for real or are they a fraud? Superman's coming into town, so you better not be a fraud. And the game, to me, that's the hardest to call right now. Let's start there. We got Drake May going up against the Houston Texans, who've now won 10 in a row. CJ Stroud looks like the CJ Stroud we remember. This defense looks like they will not be stopped. But Vrabel might be one of the best X's and O coaches, and he knows what he has. Not only does he know what he has, this guy is doing it with rookies. He has a ton of guys who believe, I don't care who's on the other side of the field, we're going to get it done. Mikey, I don't even know how to call right now. I don't even know where to go with that game right now. I'm back and forth all week long, still don't have a winner in mind, so I'm just going to throw whatever comes to mind when I have to make my pick. Have you been, in your mind, focused on these games? Are you locked it in? I know this team is the better team, or are you having just as much trouble as I am trying to predict this game?
Not having, I don't think, as much trouble. So let me ask you a question. How long does the game last, quarter-wise?
Like how long?
How many quarters? How many quarters does a football game last?
4.
Exactly. That's why the Houston Texans are going to win, because the Patriots are going to have the lead at halftime. They will be the first half team. But I said it going into, I tweeted it out, going into last week's game. The Steelers better get points early because this Texans defense is going to get better as the game goes on. Sure enough, they didn't get a lot of points early. I don't even know if they got any. They maybe take a field goal. Texans defense got better as the game went on. I think the same thing will happen here. I think the Patriots will get more points, and that's why they'll have the lead at halftime. But I just think this Texans defense is going to be too much for the currently inexperienced New England Patriots.
Okay.
I think it's a game. I'll say the Texans win by a field goal, but I just think they outlast.
I mean, I think the thing New England has going against them is the last week was their second game against a team over 500 for the whole season.
Right.
And that's not their fault.
No,
right?
It's not.
The schedule's a schedule. And yes, we saw that the schedule was, if not the easiest next to San Fran, top 2 of the easiest in the AFC for sure. So this window of they capitalized on it. So kudos to you. they also shut the Chargers out. So as much as we're here saying, man, this is Texans defense, we know, here's what we know. The San Diego is a better offense than Pittsburgh. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Why did I just say San Diego? LA, because you know I'm always about
it's San Diego.
Superchargers. All right, so we're sticking to that San Diego here. The LA Chargers are a much better offense, hands down, than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mhm.
And New England was able to keep them in check, not just for the half, for the entire game. So I don't doubt that this defense is prepared, and their game plan is, how do we rattle CJ early? They went after Herbert. Poor Herbert looked like he couldn't even stand up in the last 6 minutes of the game. And out of pride, he finished that game. I don't think he would have ever said bench me. We know he's not that kind of player.
Right.
So CJ is not going to be as comfortable as he was. I feel like they knew what to do, and they kept it going. Get the ball out early, get it into one of our running backs' hands. The backup running back had probably the best game of his whole freaking career at the right time. And they just wanted to play grind out football. So does Vrabel. It's like, great, let's go out. Let's play that blue collar grind out football and may the best man win. I think it's going to be a boring game, unfortunately, in the sense that I think both quarterbacks, if you let the game open up to them, they can do impressive things. I think there's going to be something's going to happen unexpectedly in the game where we don't think a team was going to take a shot, and they do. And right there, when they open that game up, all of a sudden, I think it opens the game up, right? Where it goes from conservative to kind of how like Baltimore and Pittsburgh were, where they did a lot of scoring in the end of the game. So I kind of see that happening. I'm going to go opposite side to you here. I'm going to say New England gets it done.
Okay.
Right? I think at some point it's like you've won 10 in a row, and now you're facing a team at home. The crowd is going to be just as electric as they were in Pittsburgh, except now you have a team that's, I think, more confident on the offensive side of the ball. And you also have a team that it's like the New England identity. They don't care. Right? They don't care. They don't care that they're inexperienced. They don't care that they haven't been here before. They don't care if you're calling them the underdog. They don't care if you don't believe in them. They just don't care. And Vrabel loves these guys. I really see that sort of energy carrying over to help them get through. So I have it flip-flop. I have New England in my field goal.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. So let's take a look while we're in the AFC. We'll go to the other side of the AFC. We said the Buffalo Bills headed way up to Mile High.
I'm all the way.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Do you think that this Broncos team is so for real they're taking down the Bills, or are the Bills?
And as the crowd walks in, and everybody at Mile High gazes across the low, godly pastures in Denver. What is it? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, ladies and gentlemen, it's Superman coming to Mile High Stadium, and I believe that Superman continues his reign and his run. He did the impossible, which was get by a team that everybody said they couldn't beat. And maybe we gave Jacksonville a little too much credit, right? Why did we think Trevor was that guy? Why did we think Trevor could get by Josh Allen? And we have to look at quarterback matchups here. We've seen it be the case in the AFC. May the best QB win. And I just don't think he can play. I just don't think that Bo Nix can play at that level. But Denver, just like Chicago, you got to play all 4 quarters. And somehow that team comes alive with like 10 minutes to go. And Sean Payton is perfectly okay with it. He knows that's their identity. This is what we've done all year to win. And oh, by the way, we won more games than anybody else in the National Football League this year. But we have seen number one go crashing out early. We saw it with Detroit last year. And I do think we're going to see something similar. I don't think Buffalo dominates Detroit like Washington did, but I do think Buffalo takes control of this game and forces Bo to do way too much in the fourth quarter. Defense is going to come up with a couple of big plays. I see 2 picks, at least 2 picks, like what happened with Trevor. And those picks are going to be, unfortunately, really bad timing for Denver. Josh is going to put his foot on their throat. I think Buffalo winning this game by 10.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give Bo Nix a lot of credit. We had a lot of doubts about him coming out because he was already 40 years old. Not really. He was 25, 26. Yeah. But there was
my homie, back in 1960s, we used to hang out, back in those days, the diner was the thing, But
you were in the same recruiting class, right?
Almost. I was a year ahead, so I had to mentor him.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it makes sense. Sense. I'll give him credit. He's become a much better NFL quarterback than I think any of us expected. He plays with a lot of heart. The problem is, say we look at quarterback matchups, he is playing against the heart. I don't think there's a single quarterback in the entire league that plays with more guts and heart than Josh Allen does. So, yes, Superman is going to step into that phone booth either before the game or at halftime. He's going to come out Superman, and he will the Buffalo Bills.
He will to a victory.
I don't think it's going to be by 10 because I think the Broncos are good. They're just not ready yet. And therefore, I'll give them the win by a touchdown.
Tell you. Okay, so both of us are going with the Bills. However, I got a Bills-New England matchup. So on all AFC East, winner takes all to be in the Super Bowl. And you have
Bills
the other way around. We got a Texas team hosting a championship game, but it ain't Dallas.
It ain't Dallas.
All right, so let's take it to the NFC.
Yeah.
I've said all along that I believe the Rams. We were very surprised that it took them the entire game to take care of business against Carolina. If there's one thing Sean McVay does extremely well, it is pivot and do what he has to do to make sure that his team's not going to make the same mistakes. And I think that game was all of a sudden an era of comedies offensively, special teams wise. It was both ways, actually, where for a little while it got a little bit goofy. I think they're going to clean up their act a lot. However, the Chicago Bears are sitting there saying, did you not just see what we did? Yeah, we know Green Bay is missing Micah. Yeah, we know that Green Bay came out and made us look terrible early. But same thing for them. Do you think they're going to come out soft and let this team go down 21-0 again? Hell no. Those guys are definitely looking at each other this week saying, we could not do this to Caleb in the offense. We could not put that much pressure on them at halftime to know that we are down by 15 or 16 and you're going to make us play like heroes for the entire second half. If that happens, they will not win this game. You could not play like that way against Sean McVay and beat Sean McVay. It's not going to work out. So if it's a big if that defense can stop a very potent and powerful Rams offense, might be the best offense in the league, at least from a standpoint of weapons everywhere and Stafford being the quarterback this year and probably MVP.
Yes.
However, I'm calling OT.
Oh,
I
hope so.
Season, it's our Sunday night game. It's going to be the game of the week. Another furious Bears comeback to set OT, but not quite enough. And Stafford breaks their hearts just like he did in Tampa Bay when we thought we were going to have a chance. He's going to rip their heart out of their chest, and those poor Bear fans are going to leave Soldier Field wondering what could have been. Oh, what could have been. So I got the Rams winning this one.
Okay. I don't think we're going OT. All respect to the Rams. The Bears. All respect to the Bears. I think you're a great team. You've got great players that are developing really well, and you've got your coach. I really think you got the right coach for you. You're not ready yet. Not this year. Not against this team. You got McVay, still one of the best coaches in the league. You got Stafford. This might be his last great year he has in him, just by attrition, just by the length of his career, and frankly, all the punishment he took in Detroit.
Yeah,
it's amazing that he's made it this far, given some of the stuff he had to deal with in Detroit.
A bionic shoulder and like an entire new ankle.
Exactly. This team is, again, like I've said before, too experienced, too many playmakers, difference makers in this game. I think the Bears hang in there, and they just come just short in the fourth quarter when all the fight's out. I think they give everything they've got. They got nothing left.
But this time the magic does not.
Right. Okay. I know I've said it for a bunch of these games, outlasting. I just think the Rams are able to. They are not as scrambled and injury riddled as the Packers were. And I think that ends up kind of winning the day for them. So I'll take the Rams in a close one in regulation.
And finally, we get a chance to see the number one, who would have thought so, Sam Darnold-led Seattle Seahawks, first-year head coach out there as well, get his first taste at being a head coach in the playoffs. And this team is clicking on all cylinders to the point where they shut out this 49ers team. And we thought they gave Philly the script. Hey, here's the game script. We just showed you how to shut this team out. What more do you need? And San fans seem to say, like, hey, you just caught us on a bad day.
Right.
And I believe that's what it was. It was a case of you caught us on a bad day. Purdy was off. CMC was off. It was literally keep a spy on CMC the whole time, and anybody else beat us. And Purdy just didn't have himself a good day then, right? Now, what's going to make them want to do anything different? It worked. It worked. They didn't score a lot of points either. San Fran, obviously, Shanahan's team and Salah said, hey, we know the offense isn't doing anything, so we have to do our best to keep us in the game, which they did. So, it's not like they dominated San Francisco on that side. It's just San Francisco played their worst offensive game all year. And I don't think that happens twice in 2 weeks, right? So while I don't think that I have the confidence to say that San Fran is going to beat Seattle, I do think that Seattle is going to have to do something very special to pull this game up. And that special is going to come with who might have emerged as one of the best receivers in the game this year, JSN. I feel this is where San Fran's injuries start to catch up with them. You don't get to Sam Darnold in time. You give him a little extra 1.5 seconds that he needs to find JSN, and JSN is going to be the difference maker in this game. So as much as I want to say, hey, we had 2 teams in championship games this year play at home in San Fran and Miami, I think this is where it ends for San Francisco. So I'm taking the home team, Seattle, another slow game. We've seen these teams in the past play these sort of matchups. A couple more touchdowns this time. So I have Seattle win this one 20-13.
This is my OT game. I agree totally. This Niners team will not play that bad 2 out of 3 weeks against the same opponent. It's difficult to go to Seattle and get a win, no matter how good or bad the Seahawks are. And I want to take us back.
Way back.
To a franchise legend in Seattle. I believe went by the name Matt Hasselbeck.
Oh, the Hassel.
And I believe he played, I think it was the Packers, in an overtime game. And what did he say?
We'll take the ball and win.
Exactly. And that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm calling it right now. Seattle wins to open OT, walk off. Can they walk off or does the rule change now?
The rule change now. They're going to get a shot.
Well, anyway, they will win. You know what? They'll give the Niners the ball. They're still going to win on a walk-off. JSN, back of the end zone, toe tap, touchdown. Announcers freak out. Everybody loses their mind.
12th man goes crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't hear anything in the stadium. Seattle's moving on to host the NFC Championship game against another division rival, the LA Rams. So we both think that it's going to be Seattle-LA. We're agreeing in the NFC, and we will have our predictions on what happens in the following week. We're not jumping ahead to saying, oh, that's our team, and they're definitely going into the Super Bowl. We got to see how the teams look this week in the divisional round. But it could not get more exciting than after Sunday, our last Monday night football game of the entire season, we get to see who is crowned the national champion. So,
I'm super excited about it. It's going to be a good weekend of football. And before we get out of here, Jay,
we got a little game.
We do have a little game.
Got a little game. Do you want to tell me something?
I did want to ask you a brief question while you prepare your game. You're a betting man, yeah?
I'm a betting man. I'm betting and I'm winning this weekend.
I want to know. You got to make the bet right now, and you can actually make it if you want. Out there, make this bet if you agree or disagree with him. Will the Arizona Wildcats go undefeated
through the whole season?
They're like halfway there right now.
Because that conference doesn't pose a challenge to them. Arizona State gave them a great game recently. They pulled that one out. I think they're going to come and roll on UCF. Unfortunately, I was thinking maybe that UCF could play spoiler, and it's one of those games where you figure like maybe this is a game they look over. I don't think this team can do that. This team is loaded. And they have a great freshman, and we've seen in the past a great freshman with great support equals deep tournament run. However, I don't know if they can run the table in the tournament. I feel that there's so many quality teams, and it looks like a collision course with Arizona and Michigan, but Michigan just got beat, right? And Michigan definitely has the depth and the talent. I believe there's certain teams out there that have NBA talent on their roster, like a BYU or Kansas, that if you catch them at the wrong time, like if Kansas, who's not having a good year, ends up being like an 8 seed and you catch them in the second round in week 1, that's not a good matchup for Arizona. But I do believe this team will make a deep run. I don't think they're going to defeat it.
Okay, so they're not winning the national championship.
They're not going to win every game that they play.
Okay, so you don't think they're making it out of the regular season?
I feel like there's going to be a
Who?
I just think that there's going to be a game that they tend to overlook, and that team's going to catch them in the wrong night, whether they come out flat or whether they're trying to play outside of their game script, or this team, like how Kentucky ran into certain teams like St. Peter has a guy who hits 6 threes unexpectedly. You know what I mean? There's going to be a game where somebody wants to beat Goliath so bad that Goliath takes a little ego hit, but he'll bounce back. And this team will be very hard to beat in the tournament, to where I say I might go ahead and put them in my bracket as the winner, at least in one of my brackets.
Raya betting man? Yes.
Is he thinking yes?
I'm thinking yes. They're going to go undefeated.
So 40-0.
National champions.
Well,
unless they went to North Carolina.
This guy loves those Wildcats, while this guy is panicking about my real Wildcats right here, who needed a buzzer beater to get by LSU. And by the way, did you see there was like 800 fans there at that game? It was really bad. LSU basketball is in a terrible place right now, which scared me to think we needed that much effort to beat LSU. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our new favorite game. 21-21, beat the clock 21. I'm about to ask Mikey a series of 5 questions. If he gets it right without needing a clue, he gets 5 points. If he needs 1 clue, he gets 3 points. If he needs 2 clues, he gets 1 point. And if it's wrong, you know what that means. Goose egg, baby, you get 0. So if Mikey can score over 21 points, I'll put in any bet he wants, $5 wager over the weekend. We'll see if it wins. However, if Mikey scores under 5 points or 5 and under, he has to put in a $5 bet for this guy. Mikey, you ready?
Yes. Hold on. I'm going to give you the clock. There's your clock. Question
number 1. I will start the clock right after I ask the question.
Okay.
How many ticket requests did FIFA receive for the 2026 World Cup?
For the how many ticket requests did they receive?
Ticket requests? One clue.
No.
13.
2 billion.
11. I'll say go much lower. Do you want the clue?
20 million.
Much lower. No, much higher. Sorry.
50 million.
Much higher.
100 million.
Time up. Then ask for a clue. 0 on that one. 500 million.
I said 500 million just now.
When did you say 500?
Right there.
My fault. I thought you said 200. Okay. So Mikey gets 5 points on that. Forgive me. I was not focused on his answer. I heard a billion and then he went down to 20. Anyways, you guys heard it more than I did. So question number 2, Mikey's on 5. The Bills snapped a 34-year curse by winning a playoff road game last weekend. How many NFL teams have never won a road playoff game? I'm going to start. I'm going to give you extra time here. Okay.
How many have never won a road playoff game?
This one's more like a 42 for him. I'm giving him a little more time because my watch just started.
8.
Incorrect.
Clue.
Stranger Things.
5.
Correct.
Okay.
Moving on. That would put you at 8 points. Question number 3, Michael. And let's see if you can continue on a roll here without needing too many clues. I think he's going to get this one. Why not? World-acclaimed pro swimmer Reagan Smith, the beacon of consistency, has more sub-58 second swims than any other female in the history of the sport in the 100-meter backstroke. After clocking a 57.98 to win the 100 back at the recent Pro Series in Austin, how many times has Reagan been under 58 seconds in the 100-meter backstroke?
In her total career?
In her total career.
30.
Incorrect.
20.
Incorrect. Would you like a
clue?
Typical age to peak in sports.
Age to peak in sports?
Mm-hmm.
25.
Do you want the last clue? 5 seconds.
Sure.
A perfect cube.
Perfect cube?
Mm-hmm. And time up.
Yeah.
Perfect cube is 3 cube. 3 times 3 times 3. 27. 27 times to her rival, Emma McCown. Not Emma McCown. I'm coming up, I'm blanking on her name, but her rival out of Australia has done it 24 times. Ooh. So she just surpassed her this year because she's done it 5 times already this season. They were both tied at 22, and her rival has done it 3 times. So they're right next to each other. So 0 there. So you're on 8 right now?
Yep.
All right. So
with
8.
How many questions to go?
2 questions.
2 questions to go. Yeah.
Okay. And you have a bonus opportunity. The Australian Open is about to be underway in the great city of Melbourne, And world number one, Carlos Alcaraz, is ready to start the year off with some new hardware. Carlos already has 6 Grand Slams to his name at the tender age of 22. But can you tell me how many of those slams are Australian Open titles?
How many Australian Opens does Alcaraz have?
Of his 6.
Of his
The
6.
clock is running.
Of his 6,
Of his
I'm going to
6.
say 3.
Incorrect. Would you like a clue?
4.
Incorrect. Would you like a clue?
Yeah, sure.
Love. 18, 19, 20, 21.
0.
I'll give you at the buzzer. Yes, at the buzzer. So the love reference was for tennis.
Yeah.
So you got some none.
I started panicking. I was like, what is love?
He has 2 US
I was
Open
like, 15?
titles,
That's not
2
possible.
Wimbledon, 2
He's never won.
2 French. Never won in
I
Australia.
did see the story on ESPN earlier. Federer talking about his issues at the Australian Open. Well, I mean, he doesn't play all anymore.
So 11 points, but you do have a shot at getting 5 and 5 here because there's a bonus question for 5. So you might be able to pull it off this week.
Okay.
Question number 5. How many playoff wins combined do the 8 head coaches left in the playoffs have? Your time starts.
How many playoff wins?
How many playoff wins combined
Combined.
do the 8 coaches remaining in the playoffs have?
Shanahan and McDermott are going to have a lot. Daniel's not going to have it. Peyton's got a lot.
I could clue you.
32.
Close.
30.
Moving further away.
34.
Would you like a clue?
37.
No. Would you like a clue?
Yes.
You have 5 seconds. Blackjack. 3.
Blackjack, but 42.
2. Boom. Got it. Good reference there. You got that. I knew you'd get that. All right. So last question. This is the bonus.
Can I get the 21 or no?
Yeah, you're at 16 right now. This is for 5.
I have to get this
No
right.
clues. Okay.
Okay.
Can you name the 3 head coaches of those 8 who all have 9 career playoff wins currently?
Sean Payton,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not D'Amico. McDermott?
Oh, so close. Sean McVay.
Should
McDermott has
have known.
8 wins.
Damn.
So if he wins,
He'll
then all those
join the
guys
club.
lose, then all of them join that 9-win club.
Okay.
Harbaugh's sitting out there right now, actually, who has the most. He's up at 13. So when he joins your staff, other than Andy Reid,
He'll
I
stay
think
at 13.
He's the active coach who has the most not named Andy Reid. And I should have said it like that. Said of the coaches not named Andy Reid, but anyway, he said of active coaches in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mikey Paul is just short this week, scoring 16, so there'll be no bets, but valiant effort there. And beat the clock 21. You guys can play along with us next time. What we do is ask questions. You have 21 seconds to answer. You guys are going to be on your phone and pretend like you knew it. This guy's the real deal right there. He's just pulling it out of the air. You'll have clues if you really want to play along and not cheat. So thank you guys for playing with us this evening. And what a weekend ahead, Mikey. So excited for this national championship game. The divisional rounds are going to be absolutely nuts. Like we said, great college basketball games. Get to know some of these freshmen because they are sensational. We'll be talking about that more next week. The names you need to know. If you don't care about college basketball, you should because they're going to be NBA stars. You're like, damn, I didn't know this kid was so good, but you will hear it here first. So we guarantee you that. Of course, hockey is heating up right now. Yes. The Lightning looking to extend their 10-game win streak, and we love it down here when our team, because Tampa is a hockey town, keeps on winning. And Mikey, any last words here heading into an exciting weekend where football is coming to an end? Only about a couple weekends left, a couple handfuls. I know you're sad. Tell us a must do this weekend. What do you have to do to make sure you're ready for all the action, all these 5 amazing games we're going to see this weekend?
Well, first off, go get yourself a bunch of Indiana merch. Get on the Indiana bandwagon. Let's go, Hoosiers. Other than that, get together with your friends, your family, get some good eats, some good drinks, and just enjoy football while we've got it because we always lament when it's over. We've got a few weeks left when it comes to the NFL. College football is over after Monday, so cherish it while you can.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are Cinco Squad. Mikey Mike, Grandpa Jay, thanks for joining us. You have yourself a happy sports weekend. Boosh.